there, Abby. Welcome back to another session of Phoenix Wright Justice Royal. We're up to double digits officially. Session number 10. Live a little bit earlier just to get some more progress in because not going to be live tomorrow night. So when we last left off, we did a lot of investigating into the case of Vanguard, and we were just about to, I guess, wrap up, but then we got one more bit of information from an unlikely source. Let's just leave it at that. And we are currently in Mia/Maya Face perspective. We're being told from Mia's point of view what exactly happened to Maya. And yeah, that's really all I can say. A lot of heavy plot happened, including also the return of Edgeworth. And that's really all I can say, really. Anyway, back to the usual questionable voice acting. As always. There's all sorts of things piled up here. But it's too dark to see. Oh, what's this? It feels like there's a lot of glass bottles here. And they feel like barrels. I'll pass. Too bad I'm really hungry, but not really thirsty. Drat, it's locked. But this door's lock seems easy enough to open. On TV, the hero uses a plastic card or a stiff piece of cardboard. I'll say, Bald, you're first today. And then click, they magically open the door. I wonder if there's a card like that around here I could use. Huh? Someone dropped a card here. You turbo sidewinders on the server box. I mean, sort of, kinda. It was originally supposed to be before you posted, but I wanted to improve the idea before I posted in Deepwater channel. Because I was thinking I would draw something fancy, but I decided not to at the last second. It kind of looks like a business card, but there's no name on it. Yeah, it's a picture of a seashell, I think. What a strange card. That's it. This shell card. If I use this, maybe I can get the door open? This might be my key out of here. I had a feeling this card might be useful. I'm such a genius. Alright, now if you'll excuse me, Mr. Kidnapper. I did it. Okay, now I'm getting the heck out of here. I shouldn't keep Nick waiting or worried. Oh, I was really that close to it. Of course. Again, the fun that is a first playthrough where I don't know where the cutoff point is for said next part. Well, now I know. Would not be the first time I cliffhang at the literal end of a part of an episode. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Mia? You must get a complete acquittal today. I know. But I can't focus on my situation right now. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I had to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. It's him. This is right. And good morning. And this it is. Oh, this is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seems a bit, how shall we say, tired. Eh? Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And if you don't like my gifts, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait. Can you never send me a present? Mr. Lawyer, dude, who was that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, or so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? Alright, the implications of the case, right. Anyway, March 22nd, 10 a.m., District Court, Court number 3. What's this now? Session for the trial of Madden God? Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Van Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor. Please be quiet, the court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor? Prosecutor Von Karma has. Oh. Of course. I really have nothing to say other than of course. Something happens with an unknown kidnapper or kidnappers doing stuff. And this morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. Nani? Shot? You telling me she's gonna whip a bullet away? Apparently not. Somehow, I think this is a present that man was talking about. His present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. It's just totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. That's good. Phew. Yola? Daddy show up. She's alright in a stable condition. Your Honor. Due to the circumstances, Miss Francesca Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. Why am I not surprised? Miss Von Krama was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Yeah. Other than, yeah, these edge rovers kind of give us information, but I would rather be fighting Von Karma right about now. Luckily, I've looked this case over and I'm familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Vanguard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Eh? Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Brings me Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name is Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. For now. For now. After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for it to press witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. If you want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough flight. Yeah, it would have to be Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Bare facts of the case. And this matter happened after the Hero of Heroes Awards ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the first time ended, the victim was alone in his room? Yes, sir. Both the victim and defendant went alone to the rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Knight, you may begin your cross-examination. I'm sorry, I'm somewhat surprised we're having to deal with Edgeworth this time. Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. The ceremony started at 6 p.m. It ended around 8 p.m. and then there was a short break. A special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Which is to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Continue with your testimony, Detective. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. What is this Adrian Andrews he's talking about? She's the defendant's Vanguard's manager. She's a very pretty lady, sir. Ah, she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she'll grace us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Vanguard. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. the cause of death, wasn't it because Mr. Kurita was stabbed in the chest? Only a careful amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, real crowd's attention would be drawn here to this bandana. Banana. His bandana, sir. That thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. And what about the knife? It seems to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murder on the hands here. Juan's autopsy report. Time of death 8:15 p.m. Khan strangled by a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. And why do you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jamming Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Well then, how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it? How's that? We thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar cases were the victims. Only the victims, huh? Yeah, I see. And so much right there then. The guitar has Kurita's fingerprints only. Got it. What committee had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the gates The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Kurita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put his case inside the case? His guitar inside the case, my bad. Yes, sir. Even though he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So the guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel? Yeah, that's right. So it really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that's enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. And then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then did the police arrest Vanguard? Because there is reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgar's back in full swing. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Why arrest Vanguard? Vanguard and Juan Kurita were huge rivals for each other. And they each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there is the Jamming Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and found in Mr. Vanguard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. So the detective's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. It was sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. It's a knife. It bears the victim's blood with Mr. Vanguard's fingerprints. In the grip, Ed Gatewater's engraved. And there's his button. This was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And is his button also covered in blood? Ew. Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. Nani? The ninja was ripped from the costumes covered in Kurita's blood, found in Angar's Hakama. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in, right? I'll find a hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like, just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Of course. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Guard won, did he not? Yeah, but you know what's ironic, pal? Walker was always one step behind Guard in everything. This year seems like he finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. But Mr. Kurita lost the Grand Prix in the end. That's too bad. He must have been pretty downhearted after losing. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Guard was beating Mr. Kurita in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It's not... Well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant wouldn't have had no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. Now, detective. Let's continue with the testimony. Not my poor pension, too. It's just a Gun Street stare. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? So, anyone? Do you have any proof the button belongs to the victim? Yeah? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the ninja's costume. No, but can't you tell by just looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, how? Sir? Right, I knew I had to beat this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Red. Nani? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the costume, ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. Ezra for you. Never misses a beat. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Kurita. And then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. And so it was immediately after the murder. The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks unlike some people. What's he trying to say about me here? How were their fingerprints arranged on the knife? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. Can't believe the bumbling in this apartment. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, Wright? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There is no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife then? I think I have an idea, but let's still press regardless. There's no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry pal, this isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around either. Not good. Prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix? Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. Careful, if the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. So the road for trouble. Okay, I think I know what I'm eating. I didn't notice what it said about the knife. Objection. It was good to say that after like a couple days. Wait a second. Nani. So the basis of your argument that this was premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand? And that's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? It has a Gatewater seal set into the handle? Gatewater? I think I heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. Hey, Nani? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently in the forest that is dumb enough not to realize this. But I didn't... Oh. The question is... where did this knife come from? Well, it's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Kadita's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim made a last meal before he was murdered, with that being the case. I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There's a knife and fork on the table. And where on earth did this knife come from? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Manigard. Especially what is on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps, is it a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Manigard's knife was missing. Of course. Mr. Manigard has gone to the victim's room with the knife he'd used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. Must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it like the derp I am. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberations of waste of your honor's time. Oh no. I wouldn't mind the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. Now, before I do, I liked it better when I was getting roasted by my karma, to put it lightly. Well, Phoenix, judge favoring the prosecution right now. If the answer is something wrong here, gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. So, like, do you have something important necessary to present? Of course. There's one. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court is yet to see. Tonight, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance, and only one. What the judge is saying, right? Just don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. Mess up, it's curtains for all of us. It's my badge now. Strangled with a scarf and stabbed with a knife. I have a feeling I walked into another trap. It tells me I was not meant to walk into this trap, but I'm gonna assume the one thing I haven't shown is this. Sorry, Wright, but this time your bluff is seriously wrong. I can see nothing strange about this piece of evidence. Wait. I am a man of my word, Mr. Wright. That's enough. This court sees no reason to prolong the trial. Nor is there any need for more time to decide the case against the defendant. This case is extremely clear. I see no room to misinterpret the facts. I'm assuming this is just game over, so I'm never going to try to voice act if I'm wrong in that fact. Yeah, I was not meant to eat evidence. I don't think. And if I am, then, well, I'm confused. I'm gonna assume I don't have any... I'm gonna assume I don't. I'm walking into a trap if I say yes, so let's say in this round we don't. This has to be another trap. Better if I don't say anything and risk throwing out Becky's evidence. Looks like the defense isn't saying a peep on this one. Which means this court is adjourned. Phoenix will lose his case if we give up here. So it'd be better show the judge something quick. So now we all know I have a tendency to be wrong more than... I can't even say it. Hold it. There's one. One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something this court has yet to see. Right. I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I am giving you one chance and only one. Okay, so but I must heed evidence of some sort at this case. Take that. It is a wine glass, is it not? But please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. This scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup was all over the floor. These were all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that's sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over, along with everything else, is his wine glass. This piece of evidence is more strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you have to say? Well, yes, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth? What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion? You don't need my opinion. As there is no special meaning to that glass. Nani? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. And that does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set the glass down without thinking? No, because the glass was full. I appear weak here. The trial's over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point of certainty. It is my fault for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup. But man, I cannot word today. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. And you turn the situation on its head again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I would never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. Nani? You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? And then... Of course it has been obviously thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There are only one set of fingerprints left in the wine glass. Only one? Well, whose were they? They were not the victims or the defendants. Rather, they were one of Adrian Andrews. Nani? Of course. And that is why I said that the person who discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Can't believe I fell into another trap again. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Kurita. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. And what you just said makes a lot of sense. Sis, Nadia, see, right? Can't change any part of my scenario. It explains everything all too well. I thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I've come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth? I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? Oh. I shouldn't be surprised, and yet I am so. And now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Luke, I am your father. Oh, I couldn't resist saying it. Because, you know, you can see the little fog just forming in our little space dome thingy. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Rat-a-tat-tat. Gotcha. I wonder what happened to that calm composure you had earlier. Now, edgy boy, it's been what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more than happy to see me. Saw the report for testimony, but who knew that under the helmet? I'm so wicked wish of the witness stand. I tell you, it's time I know what I'm supposed to do. But today, I'm gonna tell you anything and everything. Even things I don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Rat-a-tat-tat. Shush, I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedge right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, ma'am. No. Please, by all means, interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that you very hot-headed nowadays, and not that I'm mind at all edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Olbeck? It was a great job being able to see my dear Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, Everyone's crazy over the Vanguard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Coretta. But those two were the same age? Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Well, please tell the court what you've witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. I don't know which personality Obeg is better, the personality I'm used to or her sucking up to Edgeworth. They both feel equally bad, but one feels worse than the other. Anyway, what you witnessed. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was Ingard, man in guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. I hope I might go to jail. Might go to jail soon for attacking a judge without a whip. Who am I? Question mark. I feel like there's people that have done worse things to Uji. I mean, to the judge, but that's probably saying something, if anything. So, Mr. Guard came out from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Knight, you may begin your cross-examination. Well, when in doubt, press like heck. Miss Obeg, what was your procent on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show. But I refused to help, I'll have you know. It was for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on? Besides, that manager of the classes seemed to be working hard at it without me. So I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. That's when he went to tag around the victim's store. Something you were interested in, and just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everybody, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. Oh, and Ejipu, of course. What was that thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, we can always have it appended to our testimony later. It looks like we should enforce it right now. And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's store the entire time? And then would he tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Kurita's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I can count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, that would explain why the ages not included in the report. In any case, the witness didn't saw someone, correct? Who in the world was that? I'm not allowed to say. That sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, he was... Yes, he was... I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud. But I wouldn't get a good Francisco's whip right about now. Same, Phoenix. Same. I'm not saying it into it, I'm just saying that I'd rather hear that than Edgeworth flip my unflip the table I flipped over to make a point. Or something along those lines. Well, I guess I could tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway. You saw my client? Are you sure about that? Yes, eh? Really? Annoying brat. When I say I saw someone, I saw that person. How do I get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Tell the court about the man's face in more detail. You tell me to tell me about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes and the effeminate lips. His right eye colored by his silky hair, its sparkling, shining teeth. His teeth were shining? Well, he's shining all around this week's pinup poster, Jerry. This week's... what? I mean... I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please stay with what you saw that night. Nani, Ingar's face is the same no matter where it is, you know, you whippersnapper. So, Mr. Wright... is his testimony just important or relevant in any way? I'm gonna say no for now, because I probably have to just figure it out still. Alright. The inconsistency of no is yes and yes is no. I remember things are being mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. Bad for us, really bad. But that's how the human mind that's how the human mind is. It also had a tendency to jump off topic. She's straight into a few interesting side topics this time too, hadn't she? That's what makes her a sweet young old lady, right? You're not the one that has to question her. What was the man he saw carrying? In which hand is right or is left? Now this is a real mess. I mean, I can't be expected to answer such a vague question. Indeed, please be more specific with your question, Mr. Wright. Sorry. What was the man he saw carrying in his right hand? Yeah, he wasn't carrying anything in that hand. Then how about his left? Empty. All this whole thing has been a lot of nothing. It's important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Okay, so it's not important. Okay. Tell the court more about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. What was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing you're always wearing, that racing jacket. I was wearing out the detention center too. Thanks, man, for nothing but seducing me out of those pantaloons. Men. Right. So this is right. Don't you see it, Edward? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please. I like to be bad mouth without reason. Well, to be words. I don't like to be bad mouth anyone. I don't like to bad mouth anyone without reason, but if I must. But the Tasmanian know what to eat. Objection. Miss Oldbag. Nani, don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? It's button number 2 in a Jam Ninja's costume. Okay, now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance. Give it back here. Give it here. Give it here. If you don't give this to me, I'll punish you with this. Rat-a-tat-tat. Well, she really is a diehard fan of Wild Button covered in blood. This button was discovered in Mr. Guard's body during a full body search. See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Ingard. It was caught the police of the Nickel Samurai's Hakama pants. See? And Ingard is a Nickel Samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination. But just now, did you say that the defendant, Vanguard, is wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry to judge people based on what they wear. Okay, here we go again. Rat-tat-tat. Now hold your tongue still for 1 second. So she saw in actuality was not Mr. Guard the man, but Mr. Guard the Nickel Samurai. But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Miss Oldbag, it's a very important point we're talking about. Angie Poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. Besides important, I agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Sigh, alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Who I saw. Ingard. Yes, now I remember. Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was a Nickel Samurai I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn a Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Huan. I knew it. I knew he'd say that he was inside the costume. Nani. Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. But a possibility does exist. Yagam today. I told you there's no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. In Mr. Wright, we may cross-examine the witness. Would you please get on with your testimony? What's your language, young man? What sort of tone is that to take with an elder? Well, you feel this isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. Keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. Nani? She's actually singing "Someone Help My Poor Ears." Can you do something about this racket? Goodness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll be good and just stick with the facts. Okay, you promise, right? Right. I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. I need to send you a thank you note later too, after a faux gem. Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not. And not too long ago. Let me ask you this: when you were itty bitty, what was your grand dream? Huh? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be Judge Wagner here at the public court, so what? See? And look where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Well... what I said earlier. What's any ways to things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Just when it's carping theatrics over testimonies. All that matters is the man was inside the costume. Isn't that enough? An achievement may or may not have popped up. I'm not gonna say what it was. And why would that be? That way no one can see his face, of course. But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. Dot dot dot. You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I get it. Maybe it's more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. But is there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing. And that includes the Jam Ninja? Of course it included him. And that's why when Engar came out of Dear Huan's room, I didn't give it a second thought. I see. Well, anyway. So, let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was Nico Samurai? As showy as ever. And what I've been saying that from the very beginning? And I throw in a towel yet? Don't need to think too hard on this one. Huh? There's a contradiction in our testimony and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is, what that contradiction means for us. What do I have to contradict to? The button, maybe? button. I could give a hint if you want, or well, a hint, because I think it's what it is. I mean, I have no idea, and I'm thinking with you. I mean, I think it has to be the button. I think. No, well, it could be, but it can't be there. Actually, no. What about the knife? Objection. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. You're trying to scare me with that. How do you know it won't work? No, not my attention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to the case? Don't even have to ask. It's because of the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That's exactly what I'm driving at. What are you driving at? And whose car are we driving? If Mr. Guard was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on this knife right off. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. No objection. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as a Steel Samurai. Nickel Samurai. At the time, the defendant had held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I've heard that before. Well, Mr. Knight, what do you have to say about Ezra's theory? Well, Mr. Ezra's theory. So let me get this straight. Ezra's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Was there any problem with this theory? Go over time. When the defendant went to the victim's room, we had no intention of killing him. I don't think there's a contradiction here just yet. Can't see any real problems with his theory. But if you let Edward's theory stand, then we're one very large step closer to a guilty verdict. When the defendant went to the victim's room, we had no intention of killing him. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Well, I guess it's not into it, but thou must. For argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Guard was the killer in this case. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killers to have gone to the victim's room without intent. Question is, what the heck am I eating? Because the wine glass isn't proof. The scandal? Naturally, point to the one piece with the least vigor, but with such vigor of least value. Phoenix, pay attention. Let's pretend for a second that Mr. Guard is the murderer. Now, from an angle, if he didn't have a murderous intent from the very beginning, and that means there's a certain object that shouldn't be at the crime scene, right? Again, I'm probably thinking one step ahead with the clipping. I mean, I'll probably know if I get it wrong again, but is it to talk about Andrews? No. Let me look at that one that's saying before I load. Okay, pretend for a second that Mr. Guard is the murderer. Something, not someone. Got it. From that angle, if he didn't have a murderous intent from the very beginning, that means there's a certain object that shouldn't be at the crime scene. Alright, let's try it again. No, it's not the class. I figured it wasn't because I updated profile, but I had a disk track. Really? I will eventually figure out how to select stuff in the past. I'm in fact overthinking it. If he never had the intent, what wouldn't he have brought to kill the victim? What would he have brought? Oh. No. I was gonna say he wouldn't bring his costume with him, he wasn't gonna kill. No. I know you're right, I'm completely butchering every single bit of it. At the same time, there's only a finite amount of evidence, so eventually I will just stumble into it. And what I'm thinking of is always like a couple steps ahead of where I'm supposed to eat, which also isn't helping me. Okay, now I'm just being silly with the camera. The camera's irrelevant, it's probably not relevant at this point. Oh, the knife, down. I would think the knife would not be used again. Like I said, I'm a derp on a butcher words. It goes without saying I would overlook something that obvious, especially when it got used twice already in like the past couple of evidence eating sessions. This knife. This was used by Mr. and Guard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from some superstition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing a costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Obviously to frame Vanguard. Is it for my client, Mr. Engard, of course. To frame. Aren't you forcing interpretations a little too hard in this one? Objection. But we just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness. Looks like I made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Yeah. Witness, did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mix up Mr. Gar with the Nickel Samurai, his character on the show? On TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of the doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure. Yeah. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai? Alright then, who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside security. I have a feeling you are waiting for Mr. Han Correa. Am I correct, witness? The way you think, you're a sad amateur of a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? So, Oldbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Maybe Phoenix, maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person. That's who I think me is hinting at. It's certainly possible. Also, in case I'm wrong, because again, my evidence using skills have been lackluster. I'm pretty sure I know who it is though. Miss Oldbank. It's all really powers now. I have to assume your crew is waiting for Andrews, right? Take that. What is this person? Yeah, it's Adrian Andrews, Mr. Engar's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? Seems this is the latest rumor circulation, Your Honor. And all of this is... well, this is... Hi, I see. Judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. Didn't this now show with the initials AA? Are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews, without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. No, that's fine. I could throw away this whole sworn to secret confidentiality stuff then. The witness? What are you? Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I got some information. Some very important information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? No, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that. Well, Miss Adriff, how do you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this. However, I simply cannot let this point slide. I see. You got it out then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. Is it gonna take the wind out of you young'ums? Sure, we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information. That Engard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Huan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Huan. I condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? The defendant sent his manager? What a distasteful topic for this court. And Nani, nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying? The truth is never pleasant. Never heard that one before. What about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found that the truth the article proposes is in fact racist gossip. But should this be true? In this truth, the defendant did bear ill will toward the victim. This means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now, then, Mr. Knight, you may cross-examine the witness. Careful, the old bag seems rather excited from that right now. That's right. Anger is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you gotta burn old bags of fire. Tying the fire of death burners and hit this highway to the danger zone. You can't say something like that without proof. It's just slander. But it's true. That woman was getting intimate for Juan. Like it says so right here, doesn't it? Match you to the stars, Miss AA. But the name of the magazine this came from is Gossipland. Nani, so you're saying gossip is just one pack of lies? What do you know? I suppose next you'll swear to me that the news is 100% truth. Honestly, Sonny, you can't discriminate between the news and gossip. Yes, discrimination is bad, Mr. Wright. And did I do anything like that? Anyway, Ingard will never get to say touche. Scandal? What do you mean by that? You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? Can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, why are you teaching kids in middle school these days? No, I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that much. Well, then Guard thought he can own monopoly on popularity. You don't have any proof that Mr. Guard did any such thing. You must be suffering from the shock of hearing the truth. And now since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right. You're right, I can't do anything, but boy do I wish I could do something about you. Alright then, Sonny, show me what you got. I probably have to come back to that, probably, at that. So what do you mean by I took action? I already told you, I was flying way close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was gonna capture and teach her a good lesson. Something you youngins need. You're gonna teach her a good lesson? I was gonna make her eat that damaging beans on my ray gun. Like this. No, stop. Well, it's too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. Secret information that no one else knows yet? If that's true, then how do you notice it's this secret information? Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. ... The secret. Even if you drill holes in my brain, you'll never find out. I don't know that. Oh, yeah, I guess it's a secret piece of information. If you don't be a gargoyle and tell me where you got this secret information, you won't get to go home today. Ichipu, what are you doing? Help me. What do I do with this? Just do this for me. You'll get your reward. I don't want your reward, but don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. Any lectures beyond reckless babbling? As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on this line of questioning. There has to be something else I can use to figure it out. Sounds like another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. It makes your client look bad either way. Okay, so there's something at the press. Probably the end bit, something else I'm missing on this. Question is, I don't think I have the context of evidence. So between that and I think it was this piece of dialogue. It surely proved the Edgar didn't bear any ill will. Proof that Edgar did not hold any ill will toward the victim. The knife? Doesn't matter what he does, he only connects failing. I mean, I'm willing to take that in the chat, just trying to think. Or maybe I'm just thinking of it out of order again with the last piece of evidence. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm doing. That's wrong. So no one else is supposed to know the secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbank? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that. Witness. I mean, the only thing I could think of is maybe the suicide part. Of course. I don't think I heard anything really out of the ordinary just now. I'm probably overthinking it. It is the gossip, right? Or should I just eat that? I already forgot. No, I have already. No, it's not the report. It's probably a step forward past this point, maybe. Actually, I think I have an idea. And I am doing this out of order if that's the case, which means me eating evidence is not going to do anything. Why don't we eat this on the chain? Because I think I'm actually right about this. Yeah, Bobby boy. Yep, I went too far. Take that. Because I remember they said, I remember Lana saying that they sort of maybe got to a scrap. The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. See the report of such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outraged impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. Nani? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then, everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless. That's it. That's a note. No, you see, it's just something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Then you're the one that took Miss Hart's note? I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why. The infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with the evil in guard. She says so herself. In guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smelling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Edgy poo, believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help her like the angel I am. Hold on.